Good evening and welcome to Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment. My name is Tahir Qureshi. I'm your host. I'm a fellow of Royal Institute of Canada, certified international property specialist, and broker of record for City Pro Realty Inc. brokerage. Tonight, we picked up a topic building home faster. Shortage of housing is a big problem. We have noticed during the pandemic last year, we have multiple offers regardless of we have a pandemic. Shortage of supply of housing was problem before the pandemic. We had 45 to 55,000 units shortage across Canada before pandemic hit us. And during the pandemic is the highest transactions sold under Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. 121,000 and plus transactions were sold in pandemic last year. But now, since the rise of interest rate going up, 4% approximately have so far increased this year by Bank of Canada, almost. Therefore, affordability become an issue. So much you can do by increasing the interest rate. If the buyer can afford it, they will be forced into a rental unit. And sometimes with the escalation of cost of rental, you cannot even rent the property. And that is why the labor rate has not increased. How much growth we have in price escalation in 2021? Unbelievable. So what should we do? Federal government has promised to give money to the municipalities to expedite improve the process to get them things approved. That's a federally. And they put a restriction on foreign buyers that you cannot buy the houses for 2 years. That may ease up a little bit, but the real challenge was housing and how fast our builder can build them. And this jurisdiction is with the city and the province. As you might have heard, our Premier Doug Ford have issued a More Home Build Faster Act of 2022. If you remember that, earlier we have a fair housing tax where he restricted buyer to buying in the specific horseshoe areas, and that they limited to in the area. Then it was expanded all the way to Ontario, and non-speculation tax was increased from 15% to 20%. And there were some limitation on type of housing you can do it. You can leave your houses vacant. There's a penalty. There was a rebate program if you are a foreign resident and you end up becoming a Canadian Ontario resident or Canadian residence, then they will give you a rebate so you can prorate it and get some money back. All those efforts were good. They help, but not as the interest rate. Only thing it is to slow down the economy, real estate. Look at the transaction that we have shared with you during our program. So real problem is housing, how fast they can be built. For that, the Ontario government has come up with the More Home Build Faster Act. So what is the problem? The biggest problem is addressing the issues. What are the issues? All the planning is done under the Planning Act. Then you have municipalities, they have bylaws, okay? It import restriction on the municipality to follow the guidelines. especially when there is a project, they need to apply for site plan approval. They go to lengthy process, and the process is challenged by the public. And even those third parties have no interest in the project, but they cause delays. They end up with the Ontario Building Board, and and issues. So they are going to improve that and those framework and eliminate those inconsistency in the law to make sure it's smooth sailing. Unless you have your interest in it, you're a neighbor, you live in the area, and it's all housing, and you're building a high rise, and is going to be impacted your price. Obviously, you live there. But lots of people out of town, they come in and get involved and to make a political mile. They create stories and delay the project. That's not going to happen now. Now the focus is government is always want, and mostly us municipality want density. They want to go more vertical. And our mayor of Mississauga, Bonnie Crombie, was recently in our broker meeting at Mississauga Coastal Board. She mentioned about 50, 56 high tower are coming in the city center core area of Mississauga. So 50 to 56 high-rise towers. So imagine that, because they're going vertical. They can accommodate younger families and more people rather than also. Why they're going vertical is because we are shortage of space. Number two, we need the density. In order to provide transportation, mass transit, you need the density. And this is why they're going vertical. So Planning Act will be revised to improve efficiencies where possible. And this will be to make sure they reach the density, because the government has to invest a lot of money in transit. We have a light rail on Eglinton, I believe it's coming all the way to Brampton to, Ontario, going to Dundas, going north, and they're spending almost $1.6 billion. That was original estimate. They might go up now. And there is a corridor line, I believe, on Dundas to Tompkin area to the Dixie, that road. So they want to make sure there is a density to support that. And this is what they're trying to do, is to make sure that all municipalities, they are agreeing to the concept of high density, so there is a more logistic available to them. And now, the most important thing, as they said, is supporting the growth in the city and standardization of affordable and rental housing. If you cannot afford, I can tell you, I'm a principal broker of Canada Express Mortgaging, license number 13241. I get application all the time from clients, and they have challenges. If somebody qualify for the mortgage, they don't have a down payment. And if they borrow the down payment from someone, it becomes a liability. And their ceiling of purchasing value goes down. And this is why we end up taking our client out of the GTA area, and prices were gone up in 2021 already. So still issue. Then when you move somebody away from the city, then the issue is transportation, the logistic. If you have a small kid going to school, if you have to drive back to downtown, take a transit, and it costs you money. So those are the things that you have to watch. And when you calculate the cost, know your client and suitability assessment for your client, and you can see that how difficult it is to get that financing for a buyer. But my company, we have alternate mortgage financing solution. So even you are a realtor, you need financing for your client, you can call our office, you can go to express-mortgage.ca, ask your client to fill out the the application. We will try to help you to get this. Sometimes you have a bruised credit they're entitled to. There's a little bit high rate, but they qualify. They need to meet the income qualification, the verifiable income that yes, you have income. So there are many criteria available from the B lenders that we can help, but you have to provide the application in writing. So go on express-mortgage.ca and download the form, attach the document, send it to me at Tahir at express-mortgage.ca, and I will call you back and help to make sure your client get the financing. Now, similarly, they are, some rules, when you are applying some of the rules, they have to go to committee of adjustment, and they have to have a freezing, or there are areas where properties are frozen. You cannot touch those properties. And also reducing an exemption fees for builder. Now, the biggest problem is the development fees have gone up. Redevelopment, site bill application, unit cost. So Ontario government is looking at our scenario, see how can we waive or reduce those costs? Because now, if you are building a home in Mississauga, so you're looking maybe $125,000 to $150,000 development fee for one house. And you can automatically, it can be passed on to the buyers if you're building a brand new home. This is why it's very important. And they are saying is that development fees can accumulate up to $200,000 on a transaction. It all depends what type of development you're doing. So there are costs. And they want to do is they want to make changes to the Planning Act so they can have also Development Charges Act. They want to modify that and make changes, and also Conservation Authorities Act, where you have land, maybe it's a wetland area, they want to develop it because right now shortage of housing. They want a sincere effort to and exempt the fees where possible. So it's for new construction, because there's no fee when you're buying resale, except that if you buy in Toronto, you get double tax, land transfer tax, which is municipal tax, and also the city tax. But everywhere else is a tax. So at the end of the day, it is a money that is collected from the consumer, or you're a taxpayer, or the government of Ontario plan in a way. They collect taxes anyway, and they wisely spend on it and get rid of these development fees. So it's expedite the process, and they can recover money somewhere else. Okay. And also, some property have a heritage property, some has a conservation related issues. So they are trying to streamline the process so those departments will not take away too much time and try to help it, and also reduce the fee that is possible, because this is why is important to improve upon these things. This is very important. Now, the other thing is how they can help buyers and renters. You have seen is the rental property, rental gone up, way up. So problem is that when you're living in a big city, if you can't afford to buy it and you can't afford to rent it, what are you going to do? You're going to go out of town. But when you go out of town, you'll also look at logistic. How you can come back to the work unless your job has transformed and you are remotely doing it. I have a young buyer client. I'm just arranging financing and also secured a deal. So she said she works from home. Maybe once a month she has to go downtown Toronto. Otherwise, she will be buying a property. She bought the property away from the big city, so she can afford it because she got what she wanted. This is why it's very, very important to think about these things, okay? Now, the biggest problem that we have is tribunal, is where rental tribunal issues, improving Ontario land tribunal to support building more home faster. So tribunal has a requirement where you have to make sure there are certain rules and protocol. They want to improve that, and they're going to bring a legislative changes to it and to speed up the housing process. So their goal is to build $1.5 million homes in the province of Ontario for the next 10 years. So they need to put together a protocol and system to make sure that it is done. And also, the attainable new construction home. Each province has to play a role. Each each municipality has to play a role. So they need to come on board together to improve the process, get rid of the pitfalls in the legislation through changing the law to make sure it help and expedite. And then also construction uh, builders also have to improve their quality of work, performance, and make sure they're not gouging it. You have seen restriction on the buyer. There is a penalty for the builder if they try to cancel a deal. They don't want take advantage of situation and say, I can't build it. No, you sign the contract, you're going to build it. And there are penalties to the builder who's going to cancel those deals. So I recommend you guys always have a challenge where builder is giving you a hard time, and please talk to the lawyer. We're going to take a short break and we'll come back. We'll continue our conversation, building home faster in Ontario.
खूबसूरत और दिलकश जेवरात का बेमिसाल मरकज मक्का ज्वेलर्स आपकी खुशियों में बराबर की शरीक, जहां आपको मिलेगी आपकी पसंद की कंगन, चोकर, सतलड़ा, झुमके, चंदनहार, बेशुमार डिजाइन की अंगूठियां और चूड़ियां। तो आज ही तशरीफ लाएं 7086 एयरपोर्ट रोड मिसिसागा। आपकी ज्वेलरी देखकर लोग यही कहेंगे, मक्का ज्वेलर्स से लिए हैं क्या?
Welcome to POC Homes Builder Incorporated. We design and build custom homes for landowners, low-rise condo buildings, plazas as well as the industrial sector. We are a registered vendor with HCRA to build homes across the province on Ontario. We provide Tarian warranty in accordance with Ontario New Home Warranties Plan Act.
We build your dream home.
Call us today at 905-904-5353.
Pan and Shawarma. Now serving from 4 locations.
Welcome to Pizza Pros, your home for the finest halal pizza. Our pizzas are prepared with freshest and finest ingredients. We have 6 locations in GTA. Visit us at our new location, 700 Nipissing Road, Milton. Get a large pizza, meat lovers, tandoori chicken, spicy kebab, or vegetarian pizza with 2 cans and a dip for only $17.99. Call us now or visit pizzapros.ca.
So, now it's fully renovated. Live catering, barbecue, tandoor, जलेबियाँ और फ्रेश नान. तकरीब आपके घर में हो या घर से बाहर, Zoc is providing full service now, and Zoc has opened a new banquet hall, garden event center. आपका Zoc देखकर लोग कहेंगे क्या Zoc है आपका? Call right now 905-625-7786. Zoc वालों के लिए.
Welcome back to Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment. My name is Tahir Qureshi. I'm a fellow of Royal Institute of Canada, certified international property specialist, broker record for City Pro Realty Inc. brokerage. We're talking about building home faster in the province of Ontario. Most cases or frequent delay happens when we have land disputes about the ownership of the party between two parties. And those issues are transferred to Ontario Land Tribunal to help expedite the process. It requires changes to the Ontario Land Transfer Tribunal Act. It also requires changes to Ontario Construction Lien Act. When there is a dispute from this, it takes longer time. So Ontario government is introducing legislative changes. The party that loses it in the dispute will pay all the cost to the winning party, which is very good. The government is over 3 years putting $14.7 million to improve the system. And Ontario would also invest $2.5 million in resources to support faster dispute resolution. See, let's say you want to build a project and you have a litigation or dispute with other party. Regardless of you have everything completed and ready to go, you can't build it because you never know what happened. It takes years to resolve the issues in dispute. So the tribunal, Ontario Land Tribunal, will help. So government of Ontario is going to invest $2.5 million so they can reduce the overall cost of the operation and maximize. The other thing is creating more affordability housing is a couple of things. Do the government of Ontario has surplus properties or they're underutilized lands? And also commercial innovation and partnership to rapidly grow affordable housing. And that's what they're planning to do. And the avenue, so they can have a low mixed income communities. And they're trying to explore all options. And this is a good thing which is happening in Ontario. You know, regardless of what takes time. In construction, if you are building a subdivision, it's going to take you at least 3 years. So at least they're starting something now, and 3 years you will have a better balance between supply and demand. And this is why these efforts are being initiated. If no actions are taken, then we will have the same situation. We also have immigration coming. More immigrants are coming in this year and next year. And shortage of housing will be a problem. So what they want to do is to build maybe low-cost housing so everybody can afford. So tribunal, zoning approval process, eliminating all the hurdles that delays the process at the city level, improve the municipal act, which regulate all the planning and development projects anywhere in Ontario. And the municipality going to improve their bylaws. So this is a serious business. I think they are doing it right now. The other thing is most important part of this this law is also protecting Ontario home buyers from unethical developers. What happened is prices have escalated. People who have bought and sold, builder who have sold their property, they sold at a price, they're supposed to be building it, and cost of construction has escalated 35-40%, and shortage of supply, labor costs gone up, transportation costs gone up, gasoline was up, everything. Therefore, they cannot build at the price they sold because they want to recover from there. They might have a provision in the contract that allow them to terminate this contract, but they don't want to. Banks, the Ontario government is saying, no, you can't terminate it. You promised to build it, you're going to build it. So in the process, under the new Home Construction Licensing Act, there is a penalty for the builder for $25,000. Now they're changing it to $50,000. And then after that, it's going to be unlimited because whatever that they can penalize it. And those money will be used by Home Construction Regulatory Authority to improve, the system and also pay back to the customer who've been hurt because of this. Let's assume you bought a property and this was terminated. You went through the process and you were successful. And the HCRA will take the money, penalize them, and take the money and compensate to those the consumer who've been affected by it. So I would recommend to you go to the HCRAontario.ca and check out the details. These are available to everyone. So this is now, they are also taking down action to crack down on land speculation. This was the biggest problem we had in 2021. Speculation, flipping the property, not serious. You bought the property and you know that price is going to go up, you speculated, make story, even the foreign buyers were buying the property, non-residents, and that's why the Ontario government under the Fair Act, Housing Act, they put this 15, then now is 20%. And they also, when they sell the property, they have to pay 25-30%. And you cannot even take, seller, non-resident cannot even take the money from the lawyer until CRA issue a certificate that tax has been paid. So those are the reasons that it helped reduce, but the biggest problem was shortage of housing, and still shortage of housing. So this is very good news that we are seeing in Ontario. Our Ontario government is taking action, and they deserve credit for taking steps to improve for housing in Ontario. This is why they also want to make sure that the industry partners, the builders, the associations, they are also helping and working with the municipalities and the Ontario government to make sure everybody is part on that. Nobody is there for loss. They want to make a profit. Material supply, labor skills, those are all issues. Logistic, cost of construction has gone up. So they all want the big companies to talk to each other and formulate. This is why you have this association. You have a BOMA, you have a BOLD, and other companies, professional companies and corporations and associations The purpose is to bring them all together. Idea is to build reliable housing, affordable housing for fellow citizens of Ontario. And this is very important. Now, there is a heritage and growth planning also. There are areas, they are designated because of redundant policy, become a heritage, a certain area. They can relocate or do some improvement. So some changes will be coming there. Therefore, now the other thing that is coming there, they were planning also to have a 3 houses, 3 units on the same building. It all depends. Make sure it comply with the building. You need to explore that. Talk to your planner. If you are a realtor or you are a homeowner or landowner, talk to a planner or give me a call. I can connect you where your property is. You know, you are building a basement. Now they're saying, yes, we'll allow it. Now, if you want to have a more space and you can build another unit, and they can allow it. It depend on the location, type of the housing, how much parking you have, and safety, and make sure it's built according to the building code requirement. The safety and fire and building codes are not exempt. They need to follow them, and so government is encouraging the higher, more density in the area. Now, they're also reducing the taxes. If the builder is paying some taxes, buying, you have a development fees, you have HST, GST. So HST is federal, and the government of Ontario their portion can help reduce their amount. Not federally. Federally has to come forward and say, we can also give you a rebate. This is why it's very important that you have to, all 3 levels, provincial, federal, and municipality has to work. Now, our election is over. Congratulations to our Mayor Bani Krambi and of Mississauga, and also Mayor of Brampton, Patrick Brown, because a good friend, and they're working very hard. So reach out to them, find out what needs to be done, and all those developers who have application for site plan approval, if they have a challenges, call their council, go and meet with them and get them to say that your Ontario government is doing this. Why not you are helping me to get this improved faster? This is why it's very important that, and there are always rebate program available. For example, federal government has a rebate they used to give, or they're still giving new buyers about $24,000. It varies on the value of the property. So you need to check with the lawyer to see what kind of rebates available, and you can qualify for that. And most importantly is promoting fairness in housing, supporting affordable housing. This is very important, and also rental housing. So this is why it's very, very important for all of us that, and again, affordability is when you have MPAC coming up with assessment, and the assessment is high, you're paying more taxes. They're going to probably create an environment where taxes are not as hard. One thing is very, very clear. Municipality needs money to run the city, and the people who are living in that city has to pay for it. But how efficient service they provide, how efficiently they're operating, or sometime you go on the street and you see somebody 3 trucks and 25 people trying to cut 1 tree. Report to the mayor, write to your mayor and councillor, what's going on? Everybody's sitting only cutting 1 tree. An example of abuse of services. You don't need so many people. And this is why it's very, very important that all municipality will do their audits to check it out to make sure they're not overlapping each other. They're not hiring too many people on the payroll where the burden is on the taxpayers. So they need to modernize and also transform their system so they optimize it, so less and less human interaction, and they get the approval. And this was the same thing, creating a one window for for the approval application, site plan application, or committee of adjustment, or you're talking about getting a dark meeting to consult with your planner, the traffic studies and building codes, inspectors, everybody. So they're going to definitely, the Delhi government has given funds to municipality to expedite this process. But I think they are now taking this a next step. They're looking to amend the Planning Act, which is the foundation of all building in Ontario, and then they are reinforced by municipal bylaws. So the Planning Act, Development Act is the document that needs improvement, and that's what Ontario government is planning to work on that. So this is why is also, if you have a vacant homes, and this is where the government is getting very aggressive. They don't want vacant homes. When people are struggling to rent a place and you have an empty house and you are not using it, you bought it for whatever reason, you're not renting it, they're going to come back and charge you taxes. And you better talk to your accountant to make sure that you are not buying a property and also leaving it blank. You are watching Realty Coffee Talk and Awaz Entertainment. So we talk about the building home faster. So let's sum it up. The government of Ontario is taking steps to improve the process. They're going to make changes to employment, changes to Planning Act. They're going to changes to the Lean Construction Act. They're going to change to HCRA, the New Home Construction Act, so they can penalize those people who are violating the law. So they're improving it. They're going to put more money to the land dispute tribunal so they can resolve it. And everybody go out and complain and they don't get paid. Now they're saying is, if you lose and you lose a tribunal, land tribunal dispute, you can end up paying all the cost to the successful person. So that means they're avoiding anyone causing a delay of the project. Similarly, when you are doing a site plan, a project, and everybody in the street will come and complain, and some people who are not living there also complain. And unless you have a right and you live in that neighborhood, they're going to eliminate that process to expedite the approval. Otherwise, you have current law requires a meeting, consultation, blah, 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 so many issues. And these are all hurdles. They're trying to eliminate those to expedite building home faster. And also they're putting resources, affordable housing, the rebate program, and they're doing all this to increase home construction. And they expect all the key player, construction company or home builders, high-rise builders, to meet with the city, work with the federal Ontario government, and also work with municipality to come together collectively, create environment where people want to rent a house, they can rent it, don't leave it empty, or they want to build it, and also to support rapid transit, and they need a density and high density, and this is why they are going vertical and to use the space very well. You are watching Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment. The Realty Coffee Talk show is broadcast on Awaz Entertainment on cable TV. You have Awaz ENT 580 on IBPT, and also simultaneously on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also Facebook, Awaz Entertainment, and looking forward to your comment and suggestion and feedback. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next Thursday. I may be in Orlando next Thursday. I will try to do the show from there remotely. So see you on Thursday at 7 p.m. on Awaz Entertainment in Canada around the world. Thank you. Bye for now.